welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're really getting into something that, well, it touches everyone, everywhere. Violence against women, VAW, but maybe it's often misunderstood. We're going to challenge some common ideas, looking specifically at Zambia through our sources. Let's unpack it.
Yeah, and when we talk about VAW, it's important to be clear what we mean. It's basically any act of gender-based violence
Right.
that results in or could result in harm, physical, sexual, psychological, even economic harm.
So it's not just about, like, visible injuries.
Exactly. That's critical. It shows up in so many ways. Public life, private life, it's broad.
And our sources, they really bring this home with some examples that, well, they make you think.
Yeah.
Imagine a wife, enduring beatings, but silently because people just say, oh, that's a private matter.
Right. Hands off.
Or a teenage girl married off way too young before she even finishes school. Her whole future just gone.
Mm-hmm. Or think about just walking to the market, a woman facing constant harassment.
Yeah, just trying to go about her day.
Or a worker, maybe experiencing unwanted advances from her boss, but she's terrified to say anything, scared of losing her job.
These aren't just isolated things, are they? They paint a picture.
They really do. And these examples, they powerfully highlight the main idea from the sources. Violence isn't always bruises, you can see.
Okay.
Fundamentally, it's about this dynamic of power and control. And it's often, backed up by silence, by stigma.
That power and control piece feels key, hidden by silence.
Exactly. That subtle, insidious control. That's what makes it so difficult sometimes to even spot, let alone address.
And then you look at the scale of this in Zambia, and it puts those hidden forms into a really terrifying light. The 2018 Zambia Demographic and Health Survey. Wow. Some stark figures.
Yeah.
Get this. Nearly 50% of women aged 15-49 have experienced physical or sexual violence from a partner.
Nearly 50%. That's basically every second woman.
Every second woman. And it starts young, tragically young. 1 in 3 girls experiencing some kind of sexual violence before they even turn 18.
It's sobering, those numbers. Really sobering. And it just begs the question, right, why? Why does this keep happening on such a scale?
Yeah, what are the drivers?
Well, our sources point to several things, all kind of overlapping and deeply rooted.
Okay.
For instance, you've got these cultural beliefs. Some, unfortunately, normalize male dominance, female submission.
So, like, that's just how things are.
Kind of. And that's not just, some old tradition. It actively creates environments where women's voices just aren't heard, their rights ignored. And then there's the tough reality of economic dependence. That can trap women in abusive situations. They feel like they have no way out.
No options.
Right. And add to that, weak legal enforcement. Cases get delayed, maybe dismissed. People lose faith in the system.
So even if they report it.
It might not lead anywhere. Plus, often a lack of education means women might not fully know their rights.
Okay.
And finally, there's this pervasive stigma. Survivors getting blamed or shamed instead of being protected and supported that really discourages people from speaking up.
Wow. So it's a whole tangle of things, isn't it?
Exactly.
What this all points to then is that VAW isn't just, bad things happening to individuals. It's complex. It's rooted in these bigger systemic things, culture, economics, the law, social attitudes, all tangled together.
Precisely. It's deeply interwoven.
So, okay, if violence isn't always visible harm,
Right.
but it's fundamentally about this insidious power and control, like you said, backed by silence and stigma.
Yeah, that raises a pretty important question, doesn't it? What does that really imply for how we understand this? And maybe more importantly, how we actually address these issues, more broadly.
It definitely pushes us to look beyond just the obvious symptoms, right?
Yeah.
To think about how the structures around us might actually be perpetuating harm, even when there aren't any bruises. It really makes you wonder, how many other kinds of control, hidden by silence, might we be missing in our everyday lives? Something to think about.